Welcome to the Infant Safe Sleep Training for Families. This training will qualify you to receive a free portable crib from the Oklahoma-County Health Department. This training will teach you the basics of the American Academy of Pediatrics recommendations for infant safe sleep. There's also a video at OKC-County.org/safesleep that will show you how to open your portable crib and take it down correctly. After you complete these two videos, you will sign your liability form, acknowledging that you received safe sleep training and understand why it's important to follow. Let's get started. Fetal and Infant Mortality Review is a program here at the Oklahoma-County Health Department where we review cases of infant death. One of the top reasons infants die is that they're in a unsafe sleep environment. The American Academy of Pediatrics has put together a list of recommendations to reduce the risk of sleep-related death for your baby. We will go through each one in detail. The first one is place your baby to sleep on his or her back for every sleep. This is every single night, every single nap, every time you put the baby down to sleep, they should be placed on their back. Now, when they begin to roll over, it is okay to leave them in whatever position they prefer to sleep in. But just know that until they turn 1 year old, whether they can roll or not, it's important to start them out on their backs every time. What if my baby chokes while sleeping on his back? This is a good diagram to understand why it's safer to put baby on their back when it comes to choking. The baby on the left has the airway or trachea placed above the esophagus or food pipe. When you lay on your back, it naturally places the trachea above the esophagus. So whatever comes up out of this baby's stomach, gravity will pull it back down, and most likely he'll swallow it back or it will come out his mouth and nose. If you flip the baby over and now he's on his stomach, like the diagram on the right, this places the esophagus in a natural position above the trachea. And so now whatever comes up out of the baby's stomach could fall down into the airway and down into the lungs and cause choking. Plus, the baby's mouth and nose is right there in the mattress. So if he couldn't move, he would be laying there rebreathing his own carbon dioxide, and that would increase the risk of suffocation. So place baby on their back. This reduces the risk of choking, provides better breathing, and reduces the risk of suffocation. What if my baby gets a flat head from being on his back? Well, this is when we come to the second recommendation from the American Academy of Pediatrics. Provide supervised awake tummy time to minimize flat head. Tummy time will improve those motor skills, strengthen their little muscles, improve brain development, provide quality time with your baby because you can get down on the floor with your baby, talk to the baby, play music, do sensory activities, all kinds of visual activities. This is really good for your baby's brain development. So the recommendation is you increase it gradually to 15 to 30 minutes total per day by week 7. Babies don't like tummy time much at first, but you can start right away after you get home from the hospital, even if it's just a minute or two, and then increase it for as long as they'll tolerate it. But the recommendation is by the time they're 7 weeks, they should be doing 15 to 30 minutes total a day. Make sure the baby's always awake and supervised when on their tummy. This is very important. We don't want babies to fall asleep on their tummy because that would be a risk. Okay, now time for the next recommendation. Always place baby to sleep on a firm, flat surface that's non-inclined. Non-inclined means perfectly flat, okay? And these 3 pieces of equipment that you see, a bassinet, a traditional crib, and a portable crib like you see at the bottom, this will be the one that you will have from us, They're all approved for safe sleep. If your baby is sleeping in anything besides one of these, then they're going to be at risk. Babies should never sleep in swings, bouncy seats, car seats outside the car, any kind of device other than what you see right here. They should have a firm mattress with a fitted sheet. Cribs, pack and plays, bassinets should conform to the Consumer Product Safety Standards. You can go to their website and make sure that they meet those standards. It's cpsc.gov. Cribs should also never have missing hardware. Be especially careful if you're using a used crib, and use the mattress that comes with that product. Never interchange. Also, you want to be careful, especially if you use used equipment, to check saferproducts.gov for any recalls. Because if that piece of equipment has been recalled, you definitely don't want to use it, and you want to destroy it, and you don't want any other baby to use it. Like I said before, devices like these are very unsafe for babies to sleep in because it puts them in an inclined position, okay, where they can slide down or they can slump and go chin to chest. And that's something that's very dangerous. It can cut off their airway. And so, never use anything like what you see in these pictures. The top left picture is a Fisher-Price Rock and Play. This has been taken off the market because almost 100 babies died in those. They flip over and they can't flip back. Plus, it puts them in an inclined position. So not safe. Bouncy seats, car seats outside the car. If your car seat is installed by a professional, and you follow the directions, it's leveled, the straps are where they should be, then your baby should be safe for short supervised car rides. However, if you take that car seat out of the car and place it in your living room floor, now it becomes unsafe because it's not level and baby could go chin to chest very easily. Swings are also something that are very dangerous for babies to sleep in. Other things like bumbo chairs, boppy pillows, anything besides a crib, a bassinet, or a portable crib is unsafe for sleep. Keep loose bedding and other objects out of the crib. So we see the crib on the left and it looks pretty empty. You know, it does have bumper pads though, and bumper pads can be a suffocation hazard. What we want to see is the crib on the right, perfectly empty. The only three things you need in a crib are a mattress, a fitted sheet, and a baby. That's all. We want it to look perfectly bare so that the baby will be safe. No pillows, blankets, bumper pads, stuffed animals, nothing at all in the crib except that mattress, fitted sheet, and the baby. I'm afraid my baby will get too cold without a blanket. We recommend a wearable blanket. Some people call it a sleep sack. Babies should wear sleep sacks or footed pajamas. This will keep them warm and it'll also keep them safe because they wear it. It's not going to be loose bedding in the crib. It will reduce the risk of suffocation and strangulation. Blankets should never be placed into a crib. Babies are perfectly warm inside of a wearable blanket. You can even buy the wearable blankets with the hands in as well if you're concerned about cold hands. But always use a sleep sack or wearable blanket or footed pajamas instead of a blanket. Don't let your baby get too hot. Overheating is a risk. It's not necessary to overdress your baby. No hats should ever be placed on baby's head when they're going to sleep. Avoid overbundling and covering the face and head. Dress baby in no more than one layer than an adult would wear to be comfortable. So for instance, if you wear a t-shirt to bed, then put baby in a onesie plus a sleep sack on top. They only need one more layer than we need. And if you are comfortable in the room, the baby will be comfortable with one more layer. Always check the baby for signs that they are overheating, they're sweaty, they're red-faced, they're fussy. If they're too hot, then you should make an adjustment. in clothing or in room temperature. Room sharing, not bed sharing. This is very important. I'm going to share some facts from Fetal and Infant Mortality Review. Between the years of 2019 and 2021, 47 sleep-related deaths were documented by FEMUR. Of those 47, 57% were surface sharing. What I mean by surface sharing is they were sharing a bed, they were sharing a recliner, they were sharing a couch, anything where you're sharing the surface with an infant under 1 year old is very dangerous. And lots of babies die that way. And it's 100% preventable. Just place your baby in a crib, bassinet, or portable crib. Never, never, never share a surface with a baby. They need their own separate space. Room sharing is recommended for the first year. However, 6 months, the American Academy of Pediatrics says 6 months at least. If you can go a year, that's even better. They should sleep in the same room, but never the same bed. Okay. Again, bassinet, portable crib, or traditional crib only. You can have the baby right next to your bed, but never in the bed. They have to have a separate surface. This is a video, a demonstration of how much a person might move around in bed. This lady was asleep from 10 o'clock at night until 5 in the morning. This is a real demonstration. She was really asleep for all that time. So you can imagine how dangerous that would have been had that baby been in bed, the way that lady moved around in bed. Not everybody moves around that much. That is kind of a wild demonstration, but some people do. And really, it doesn't even take that much. You can just roll over one time. You can do a half turn and cover up a baby. So always, always, always let the baby have their own bed, but share the room. Keep baby away from smoking and places where people smoke. Here are some more FEMUR facts. Of those 47 sleep-related deaths we talked about earlier, 34% of those moms smoked. Also, 47% of those moms used illegal drugs, 13% of moms consumed alcohol, and 57% were surface sharing. So it's really dangerous to surface share with your baby, but if you're doing something like having a drink before bed or using any kind of illegal drugs or marijuana or painkillers, anything like that, it makes it even more dangerous because you're not as responsive when you're under the influence of those chemicals. Smoking, again, is very dangerous for babies before birth and after birth. Smoking while you're pregnant can cause prematurity. We see it all the time. It's one of the top causes of infant death. Low birth weight, underdeveloped lungs. That means baby's going to spend a long time in the NICU if they ever make it out of the NICU. Addiction, baby will be born addicted to nicotine if you smoke while you're pregnant. It's been linked to behavioral problems later in life if you smoke while you're pregnant. Reducing exposure while trying to quit. If you really are trying to quit and you're pregnant, or even if you've just had your baby, definitely there are some ways to reduce that exposure. One is call 1-800-QUIT-NOW, the Oklahoma Tobacco Quit Line. It's absolutely free. They give you free patches, gum, or lozenges. They give you a quit coach. It's 24-hour access to help. It's a great program. You should give them a call. Even if you've called before, try again. It's it's a fact that people have to have multiple attempts usually before they can quit. So keep trying. Any effort at all is going to be helpful. Limit the amount of cigarettes that you smoke every day, of course. Wait 2 hours after smoking to breastfeed. Never breastfeed a baby right after a cigarette. That's when the nicotine concentration is the highest. Always smoke outside, away from the infant, and avoid third-hand smoke. What is secondhand smoke? It's the combination of the smoke from the burning end of the cigarette and the smoke that's breathed out of your mouth. It contains 7,000 chemicals, 70 cancer-causing agents. These are human carcinogens that are in the air that your baby is breathing. It lingers in the air for hours, even though you can't see it. And if you go outside to smoke, that's good, but you're going to bring that secondhand smoke right back in with you. So better off to put something over your clothing, maybe a jacket, or wrap in a blanket. And then when you finish smoking, take that off and leave that outside. That will reduce some of the risk or some of the exposure for sure. What is third-hand smoke? Third-hand smoke is literally the residue from the secondhand smoke that lands on every surface in your home. So it gets on your furniture and your bedding and your walls and your carpet, your clothing, literally on every surface of the room. It can last for decades. This is a picture of an old office building that we found. And back in the day, they used to smoke in public places. They could smoke anywhere, even in hospitals. And this is the result of years of smoking. And this was 30 years later. They went in and this place had been vacant for 30 years. And they swabbed it and it still tested positive for third-hand nicotine. So that stuff you can't get rid of unless you bring in a professional. Offer a pacifier when placing baby to sleep. This is something that they have done studies on, and studies prove that giving a baby a pacifier when they're placed down to sleep has a protective effect against sudden infant death syndrome and sleep-related death. So offer when putting a baby to sleep. Never coat it with anything sweet like syrup or honey. Never give a baby honey under the age of 1 anyway. That's very dangerous. Don't use a string or anything else to attach the pacifier around a baby's neck or clothing. And if the baby's being breastfed, wait 3 to 4 weeks of age until breastfed is fully established. You want to make sure that the baby is proficient in latching on. You don't want to confuse the baby with a pacifier. And of course, it is the parent's choice whether you want to choose to use one. However, the American Academy of Pediatrics just wants you to know that these studies have proven a protective effect against sleep-related death. So it's something that's recommended, but of course, it's not, it's still a choice. If the baby doesn't want to take the pacifier, then don't force it. But they want you to know about these studies and just you can make your own choice. Immunize and go to all well child visits. Immunizations, there have also been studies. They are available on the CDC website, and there is no causal link between immunizations and infant death. There's nothing linked to that. And so what they want you to know that it actually has a protective effect against infant death. What we want is a healthy baby. We want to give them every advantage they can. And those immunizations are so important to get your baby off to a good start and protect them from things that could harm them. Not just the childhood diseases, but things like flu and COVID and RSV. We need to also have the family members immunized as well. Anybody who's around your baby or cares for your baby needs to have those vaccinations. So always talk to your healthcare provider. We're not here to give any medical advice, but it is one of the recommendations of the American Academy of Pediatrics that you immunize and go to all well child visits. Do not rely on products that claim to reduce the risk of SIDS and sleep-related death. There are products out there that claim, oh, if you use this, you won't have to worry about SIDS or infant death. There's no product out there that is proven to reduce the risk. The only thing that's proven to reduce the risk are the guidelines that I'm giving you right now. So don't believe it. They shouldn't make those claims. And the American Academy of Pediatrics is warning families not to rely on these products. Don't get complacent. Don't get a false sense of security from these things because they're not proven, and they can be dangerous as well. So this includes wedges, positioners, special mattresses, co-sleepers, sleep surfaces. So co-sleepers are things like the DockATot, the Snuggle Me Organic, the Baby Nest. Let's see if I can find a picture. I'm not sure if I have a picture in this, but here's one, the little sock monitor. People use these for peace of mind, and that's okay. They're really expensive. But technology, that's the thing. Technology, don't rely on technology because we all know that technology fails every once in a while, usually very often. And so we don't want to put our babies' lives at risk just because we're relying on some product that claims to reduce the risk. So in review, remember your ABCs: alone, on their back, in a crib, with dangers eliminated. No blankets, pillows, bumper pads, stuffed animals, no toys, no objects at all, no smoking, and no bibs, nothing around the baby's neck. And remember about the hats. Hats are worn inside the hospital right after babies are born. However, once a baby gets home, they shouldn't go to bed with a hat. That's the end of the Safe Sleep training. Thank you for watching. And your next step is to sign your liability form. Also, you will get the link sent to you, occhd.org/safe-sleep. And then you will also watch that video that shows you how to put your portable crib together and take it down correctly. Thank you very much.